Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Mary Carnahan, and I am the e-learning resource specialist with the Department of Education, Office of E-Learning, and I'm excited to welcome you all to our first e-learning lab webinar of the 2016-17 school year. So thank you all for being here today. I'm sure that you will leave with some great information that you can take back to your schools and your classrooms, and as you're working with your students and teachers, depending on your role this year. So I'm going to get started with just a few housekeeping things, and then we'll move on with our topic today, hot happenings with digital content. First of all, you are all muted. All of the lines should be muted. Please do not unmute yourself. We end up with background noise that disturbs, that distracts from the people who are presenting, so please just leave your phone muted. The chat box is available to you on the right side of the screen, so please use that to ask questions, to share ideas and thoughts as we go through the call. It's not just a place to ask questions, but definitely if you have ideas, things that you are already using in your classrooms, please definitely share those with the other people on the call. You all are each other's best resource, so share what you've got. And as we go through the call, we will try to answer questions as we go, but I will make note of questions that come through that don't get answered, and then we'll have some time at the end of the hour or whatever we take today to get all of your questions answered. So first, just a couple of updates from our office as far as professional development goes. One thing that I didn't include on here, because we're just about done with our quote-unquote summer, late summer book club, is we're just finishing up a book club, but we will be starting another one in the next month or two. Haven't decided on all the details, but we will be sharing those through social media, so just keep up with the INELearn hashtag and the handle INELearn, and we share everything there. But the book that we've been reading is on digital citizenship, and that is our Twitter chat topic for this week. So if you're interested, the details are there in the middle of the page. We do also have a couple of other webinars that are coming up, Digital Citizenship, Nearpod, and Common Sense, again, going along with that theme, Tuesday, September 13th, and Speak Up. If you are interested in the Speak Up survey that provides you with your school with some really great free data, that is Tuesday, September 20th. And again, going with the theme of digital citizenship, you see it throughout here. We are excited to be celebrating Indiana Digital Citizenship Week, September 12th through 16th. So you can check out all the details on that by going to our website. There's a link right there on the homepage to get all of those details. Okay, and just one other real quick housekeeping. Again, please use that chat box to share questions as we go. Make sure that you select everyone from the Send To drop-down so the others on the call can see your questions. And at some point a little bit later, we'll be changing presenters again, and you'll have to change that little drop-down to everyone again. So just keep that in mind so that we can all see your questions and comments. So on to the topic at hand. I'm excited. I'm happy to have Molly Yoel, who's an English teacher at Danville High School, and I also get to work with her every day. She's our digital content coordinator, so we're happy to work with her on this topic. And then we also have Jill Florent from Amazon Education, who will be joining us in a little bit to talk about what we are doing with them. So I'm going to now turn it over to Molly.
Well, thank you, Mary, and good afternoon, everyone. Like Mary said, my name is Molly Yoel. I have been in education. I'm starting my 11th year now, and I have done a whole host of things in K-12 education. But the last several years, I have been working with the Office of E-Learning around the topic of digital content curation and attempting to support Indiana teachers across the state in this area because we know there's a growing need. I also am a classroom teacher. I teach one period at Danville Community High School just west of Indianapolis. And this year I'm teaching advanced comp. So I like to keep my foot in the door and work with students and, keep my street cred. So that's my story. This is kind of a webinar that's just focused on providing some updates for folks joining us, as well as to do a quick update and brief kind of tutorial on a new content repository that's going to be available through Amazon Education. And so I'm just going to share a handful of announcements with you guys, kind of let you know what our plans are for the school year around digital content curation and how we're trying to support teachers. And then I will hand it over to Jill. I did put my email in the chat box for anyone that wants to contact me directly. If you ever have ideas or thoughts around the topic of digital content curation, or if you want to join the work with us, we are always willing to take people to help in this area. So just contact me and we can get you involved at a broader level because it's easier if we all share the workload, that's for sure. All right, Mary, you can go on to the next slide. Thanks. So the first professional development opportunity that the office is going to be offering is the Digital Content Workshop Tour, as we have named it. We started doing this last year, and we had quite a bit of success at, I think, 4 locations throughout the school year, kind of in different areas of the state. And so the goal of these workshops is really to support those teachers and or new coaches that are kind of just getting their toes wet with digital content curation, who have primarily relied on a textbook or other kind of traditional resources in the past and are really trying to kind of broaden their horizons a bit and expand into the digital world. And so we are hoping that we can get some great attendance this year at our workshops. We've tried to place ourselves in different areas of the state and hoping to even add another date or 2 and location to that list. Like I had mentioned earlier, we are advertising these workshops for those kind of just getting started, beginners, if you will. Registration is currently open for our South Madison location on September 28th, and then you can see there's 3 other dates that are scheduled as well. So if you can find a workshop near your area, that's wonderful. We're trying not to make people travel too far, so we're hoping to get around, between last year and this year. The workshop is free for anyone who wants to attend, and our office will even pay for 2 substitute teachers for each district that wants to send folks. So registration for the South Madison will close in the next few days, though, because contract has to get started for the substitutes. So if you have questions about that or just want to know a little bit more in detail, or if you think you might be interested but not really sure if it's a good fit for you, feel free to shoot me an email and we can talk about that. So, all right, Mary, moving on. All right. Another kind of update is last year, in I think February, our office received a Teaching with Primary Sources regional grant through the Library of Congress, and we hosted a 2-day workshop in Bloomington on IU's campus with a professor there who is certified, and during that time, our teachers that attended were Level 1 and Level 2 certified. It was a really great opportunity, not just to be reminded of a great resource that the Library of Congress is, and they have this ginormous digital library that is open for free for teachers to use. But more importantly, we focused those 2 days on not only navigating the site and finding things to use in your classroom, but we've really focused on how do we take those primary sources that we're finding online for free, and how do we use them in our classroom to enhance student learning? And so we practiced a lot of different analysis strategies and tools that teachers can use in their classroom with the primary sources to really increase student inquiry and some student buy-in. So that was a really great opportunity. We offered that workshop for our Rockstars of Curation, a group that we started a couple of years ago. And we work specifically with K-12 ELA teachers, social studies teachers, and science teachers. Our plan was originally to host another workshop this fall and open it up, and we still plan on doing that, but kind of to go alongside of that, we are actually going to open up registration on Tuesday of next week. If you are a teacher or have a teacher or two maybe in your school, and they really get this work and they do a lot of open ed resources, use them in their classroom, they do a lot with digital content curation, we would love to have them join our Rockstars of Curation. We're going to try to recruit K-12 ELA science and social studies teachers right now to add to our group that we established a few years ago. And we're actually going to do the second round of Teaching with Primary Sources workshop with a new kind of cohort of Rockstars that we bring on. So like I said, if you are one of those teachers and you want to get into this work and you want to get time out of the classroom to collaborate with some other teachers in your area, get time to create stuff not only for your classroom but also to share for others to use, we are looking for you. So be on the lookout via our social media and our website if you are interested. And we do have a few, I just saw because it popped up, Susie, we do have a few library media specialists in this group. We have one or two from Wayne Township actually. So if you are a library media specialist and can support, within the K-12 arena, I would encourage you to apply. I say apply, but it's just kind of a way for us to vet teachers. We'll just ask for recommendations and kind of get a feel for where you're at and as a content curator. So I would love to have some library media specialists join the group. So there's no cost to teachers other than the willingness to come and learn and take a few days out of your classroom and then to share with others. So we do try to encourage current classroom teachers to join the Rockstars of Curation as opposed to coaches who support those teachers. We really encourage just classroom teachers to join that group. So that was a question. I saw another one. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can post them there in the text box, and we can try to get to those later, or just feel free to shoot me an email directly, and we can talk. So I'm excited. We're hoping to expand our group and get some more work done. All right, Mary. All right. Go Open, this may be a hashtag that's familiar with many of you. Indiana last winter joined officially the Go Open movement with, I think at that time, 13 or 14 other states. The number is growing, so there are more states that have gotten on board over the spring and summer. We are working with these states as a collective group, and we have branched out into different task forces and are focusing as states together to work on particular kind of focus areas within the digital content curation world, and specifically open education resources. This is a national initiative from the US DOE, so we're working directly with the Office of Educational Technology. We're working with CETA and some other organizations like that. Not a lot of information with regard to Go Open right now because we're all still in our task force and trying to come up with some plans that how we're going to support states and districts. But I will tell you that there is, let me post it right here, there's a link. If you are a district that's interested in this Go Open movement, then there's a great resource resource for you. Not only are states joining the Go Open initiative, but individual districts and states are. And I was actually going to go back. I received an email from someone at the USDOE earlier today just trying to get an update about districts who are interested in going open. It's kind of a 12-month process, if you will, and basically as a Go Open district, you are committing to replace your traditional instructional materials within 12 months of signing on. And that doesn't mean that you sign on and are expected to do it on your own. As a group, we're trying to come up with resources to help districts. And so there is a launch packet that has been released, and I think I posted that link in the chat box for you, that offers resources to districts who are trying to get started, kind of first steps and things. So actually in the fall would be a good time if you're interested in becoming a Go Open district, because you could start to curate some supplemental resources this fall into the winter that you could then roll out in the spring semester, and then you could really spend this coming summer doing a lot of intensive work to create kind of larger units of study, and then you could ideally have a full transition this time next year. So there's a commitment to signing on as a Go Open district, but there's also support along the way. So if you want to know more about that, you can reach out to me, and I can get you all the information that I have, and I can also hook you up with someone at the USDOE if you have other questions that I can't help you with. So we don't have a ton of districts that have signed on, so we're definitely looking to get more to make that commitment and to really stand up as kind of leaders in that area and kind of help pave the way for other districts. So, and I don't think we have any Indiana districts. I could be wrong, but off the top of my head, I don't know any. All right, Mary, moving on. All right, Crash Course. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the Green Brothers and the Crash Course YouTube channel that they have, and they have amazing videos for teachers and students to use in the classroom that are all free, of course, to use that support learning. They last year received some grant funding, and they have been working to create a full-on world history course that ties in directly with their world history videos that they already have launched on the YouTube channel. And so they are getting very close to releasing that full course. In that course will not only be the videos, of course, but writing prompts and supplemental activities that teachers can use, and they can take and use them as is or adopt them as needed. This fits perfectly in with our Go Open movement because these are free resources that the Green Brothers are putting together with their team with the help of grant money, just to really support teachers and to help them kind of transition away from textbooks and to use more kind of current content in their classroom. So if you're interested, stay on the lookout. They do have a Twitter handle where I know that they'll be sharing the release of that world history course, and I believe they'll also be launching a website with that information. So if you're not a big social media user, I would encourage you to get on, because that's how you stay on the net, stay in the know with a lot of these happening. I was hoping to have them on today, but they were like a week or two out and weren't quite ready to share any updates. But they did tell me that they're getting very close to releasing it, and they're also hoping to get their grant money, I guess, extended and to receive more of it from different places so they can continue to create and build these free courses for teachers to take and use that go along and supplement their videos. So just FYI. There's another organization that's helping support the OER movement. All right, Mary. All right, I think that is all I have as far as announcements and things to be on the lookout for future professional development opportunities. we are really hoping that the workshops take off as an office and that we can continue to offer support for those kind of getting started. But like I mentioned before, we're definitely open to new ideas and strategies on how we can support you across the state. And so if you have ideas or thoughts, that might benefit us and kind of extend our thinking on how we're supporting Indiana teachers, we would love to hear about that. Or if you think at some point you're starting to get the vibe, like in your districts and surrounding districts, that we need to move past kind of the novice workshops and move to a different level, we would love that feedback as well. And then I think Jill, I hope, is ready. She is going to share some updates about Amazon Inspire with you and give you a little tutorial real quick.
Fantastic. Can you guys hear me okay? I think I'm unmuted now.
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. So I think the next step, I'd love to share my screen. Mary, maybe you can pass the ball over to me, and I would love to give you an update on what's going on with the partnership between Amazon Education and the state of Indiana. There's some really special opportunities coming up. Can you guys see my screen? It says Amazon Inspire on it.
Yes.
Great, great. Okay, so I'm going to take the next few minutes just to kind of introduce myself and let you know what's going on, the very, very latest with Amazon Inspire. My role on the team here is I'm Director of Customer Success for this exciting new platform that we are launching. We've been working on it actually for quite some time and are closely aligned with the state of Indiana. I would love to hear from you via email or phone or Twitter. Just a little bit of background on me. I've spent about 20 years in educational technology with all types of blended and online learning projects, a lot of them related to STEM. And I just love building learning relationships with other educators, and I hope that as you begin your journey on going open, that I might be able to support you as well. So feel free to reach out to me beyond today. But what I want to be able to do in the next few minutes is just give you an update on kind of what the background of our work with Indiana on the Go Open project has been to date. And then I'm going to give you an opportunity to actually get immediate and early access to this new platform called Amazon Inspire. We actually launched this with a small set of districts and states earlier this year. We started telling the world about it in June, and so now there's a huge wait list of people that want to get access. But if you keep listening for a few more minutes, I'll make sure you have all the codes and things to get immediately into the new platform. And I'll show you a few of the things that you can do right away on the platform to discover open education resources and rate and collect those things as well. So I'll just give you a little bit of background, then we'll jump into a demo, and then I'll open it up for questions and answers. This slide is just meant to kind of give kind of a broad outline. Open education resources have actually been around for quite some time, but they've really picked up speed the last year since the U.S. Department of Education has formally committed to helping states and districts to go open. Amazon Education became very committed to that when the White House announced this last year and began working with Indiana almost from the very get-go. So dating all the way back to last spring, we've been working with Molly and Candace and the team on just giving your rock stars of curation early access, and as we're building this new platform, have given them input right from the very start. We also began expanding support for Indiana educators throughout the summer of e-learning. So we were present at many of the exciting professional learning events that went on throughout the summer. And I think things really, really picked up steam when we began for the first time to really say publicly that we're working on this platform called Amazon Inspire, which is, I hope, going to seem to you very much like the Amazon.com website, only what we do in there is we give and receive inspiration in the form of free and open education resources. When we were at the largest instructional technology conference of the year in Denver, I was at the booth being able to demonstrate for educators who were there, and I feel like there was almost 1 out of every 2 educators who was there stopped by and signed up to join our wait list. There have been thousands and thousands more who have joined, and we're very, very strictly limiting access yet because we're still making some tweaks to the platform, but it will become available later this fall to all educators in the U.S. As I mentioned, I'll give you access in just a moment if you don't already have it, if you haven't already been at one of these events. And I'll actually be in Indiana and attending some EdCamp events later this fall as well. So that's just a little bit of background on what we've been doing with Indiana, and I'd be happy to answer additional questions when we open up the mic in a little bit. This URL and the access code associated with it, which I'm actually going to post in just a moment into the chat window, is how you access Amazon Inspire. So there we go. It's now available to you, and what I'm going to do is actually show you on my screen just exactly how you go through each of the steps to log in and go into the site. I will just point out that, and I'll show you this in a moment, you can either use an existing Amazon.com account, or you can create a new Amazon.com account with your school or district email address. This is one of the most secure ways to access any website because we view privacy and trust as so important in running our very large businesses. But really with that URL, the access code, and a new account, that's all that you need to get into Amazon Inspire. So just making sure as I switch over to the website, Molly or Mary, can you just confirm that you're still able to see my screen? I've now moved to the home page of Amazon Inspire.
Yes, we can see it, Jill.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So what you see in front of you is the home page at www.amazoninspire.com. If you are going to this page for the very first time, you will be prompted to enter in that access code and to begin creating your account for the first time. Up in the upper right corner is where you go ahead and click to either log in or create your account. What you'll notice here is that it actually defaults because I've been on Amazon.com myself earlier today, so I'm actually going to switch over to my work email account and go ahead and log in. And I'm just going to pause here for a moment. If it's your first time logging in, as I mentioned, most people are using a professional email address, but it is your choice, whatever's easiest for you. If you click to create an Amazon.com account, that would be sort of just for the purposes of accessing this education-specific site. But when I log in, what it's going to, having the correct password would probably be a good idea. See how secure we are? Now we're at the home page, and the core thing that I'm going to show you is the way that we've been able to easily use the search and discovery features from commonly utilized websites like Amazon.com to enable you to do a search on any educational topic. And when I click on something like, for instance, it's the beginning of the year, so I might click on the term classroom culture. What it's going to do is do a search of the free and open resources in the Amazon.com database and come up with a whole bunch of resources that are now presented to me very much like I was shopping on Amazon.com. So the results are in the center, and then on the left side is where you have a whole bunch of educational filters. So I could filter by grade level, or I could filter by subject, or I could filter by standards, or resource type, or ratings, or target audience. Maybe I'm looking for something that is for students that are EL students or above or below grade level. There's all kinds of things that when we are adding content to Amazon Inspire that you can use to make it easier for other educators to find them. I'm going to just click here on this one. This is my kind of favorite this week because Christian Taylor is an Olympian who was kind of the star of the Olympics for a few days, a couple of weeks ago. He won the triple jump. You may have seen him talking with his colleague who won the silver medal and then asked his girlfriend to marry him on international TV. But he actually is the star of some free and open resources where he talks about how important honesty is. And so there is a video that is in this particular collection. And when I click on that video, I can see that there's a description and some grade levels that this would be specifically important for. And you can begin actually taking a look at that resource. You can stream that, that content right directly inside your system, and I won't go through the whole thing because I know video on top of video is sometimes a little bit challenging, but one of the things that is very, very exciting is that these resources that you discover, because they're all free and open, can easily be either played in the system or as soon as we're finished with a little bit of a maintenance update, you would be able to just click a button and also download it. So in this particular case, I've taken just a few minutes to get into a video. There is a nice lesson plan. This happens to be a PDF, and this was contributed by a publisher called Classroom Champions that has very closely aligned this to the new standards. And I do see some questions coming in, and I'll make sure to go back and answer those as we go through just a few quick and easy demonstrations here. What I've shown you so far is just a quick search. I do also want to show you that when you're looking for something that might be really grade level or subject specific, it's going to be really easy to go in and say, hey, I'm looking for something that is maybe for 4th grade math or for a certain standard. And so as I keep clicking into these, I'm filtering and narrowing down what started out as several thousand resources down to, oh, let me just look for something that, gives me grades for fractions or geometry or what have you. So these kind of things can easily then narrow further your searches. I also really like the fact that if I was looking for something that was just highly rated content, I could click down here on that star rating. And what you'll see is that a lot of the resources have now been begun to be kind of looked at by educators. We've had a very limited amount of educators in here so far. I think Indiana currently is actually one of the states with the most educators who are given early access because of our partnership. But as you can see that when I see the resource online here, when I click to have a look at it, I actually can go back and add my additional kind of reviews and comments to it. I think I actually went much further back. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. But if I click to write a review, it'll give me a chance to give it a star rating and a narrative review. And so over time, one of the things that is super exciting about this is that it's kind of building in both the super simple search kind of capabilities and the filtering capabilities that you get from Google or Amazon, but then with the reviews and narrative feedback that you can get within Amazon Inspire, it's going to over time build a really, really interesting, we think, community of practice. I'm going to show you a few of my favorites and just go through a couple of interesting examples of not only who is contributing content, but also what it looks like. Maybe since we're talking about feedback for a moment, let's just look here. There's a worksheet on comparative art analysis. And this particular piece of content, it's a fairly simple, easy graphic organizer, but it was really, really well received. So you'll notice here that this has a bunch of 5-star reviews and a bunch of teachers who are saying, you know, hey, this is, you know, really helpful for, you know, professional development, for observations and comparisons. So you can kind of start seeing how powerful just the individual ratings are going to be. One of the things that I've been doing here is actually leveraging a feature that is an important thing when you look at the open education resources world. Amazon Inspire has a feature called Collections, and I'm going to just show you kind of the comparison of, you know, we were just looking at the honesty resource. So, or let's actually take something. Let's look at digital citizenship. So digital citizenship is a theme that's coming up in the next couple of weeks, big time in Indiana. And so you can see that there are approximately 98 resources so far under digital citizenship, and some of them are individual files or videos, and then some of them are actually grouped together in collections. So there's Common Sense Media has been adding their resources to the system. You also have companies like iKeepSafe or Buck Institute that are adding different kinds of things. So you can actually, anytime you find a good resource, you can actually add that to a collection of your own and begin curating that into a collection that can be content that you have contributed to the platform or content that others have contributed or a combination of the two. And so I think that that notion of looking at other people's collections is going to be a really, really interesting one. I have just today added a new collection, and so you can either search for it. I'll just show you one more example of how collections work. When I make a collection, it then is stored for me under my content in the upper right corner. And so I thought it might be helpful for you to just have kind of a running list of what kind of exciting publishers are adding to the platform. So if you look here at this particular collection, the major thing I try to do here is just give you, a single example of many different kinds of contributors' content. So starting from A-List Education, who's adding, incredibly, cool resources around SAT prep or Action Publishing or Advanced Path Academics. Any of these resources can easily not only be immediately accessed on the system by, clicking on it, playing it inside the system, or adding it to a collection, but you can also then take a look and say, well, let's look here at something like Buck Institute for Education, and let's see, well, what else are they contributing to the platform? So I can cut and paste that or any of these exciting pieces of content into this little search window and see, all of the resources that are being contributed. And this includes lots and lots of rubrics and templates and exciting resources to support project-based learning. And so I'd love to just encourage you to log in, begin discovering resources, potentially rating and giving feedback on resources, and building collections of your own. I do want to pause for a moment and just see if there's some questions that we wanted to go through. I'm totally available to go more deeply into some of the searches that I think are really interesting. If there's no questions, I'll do that for just a few more minutes. But I did see that there's a question about developing an LTI so that Amazon can be embedded into an LMS. And I am happy to say that we have a team that is actively working on that. So we're expecting that later this fall, that's going to be a feature that when you actually have downloaded or collected any content on Inspire, that will be able to be just simply popped into your Canvas or Schoology or Blackboard type systems through an open LTI app. Right now, I will also point out that the features for uploading and downloading are actually going through some revisions, and we got some important feedback from some of our early users that they would like there to be a little bit more clarity around when I add content to the system, you know, what does it mean to be sharing it with different types of Creative Commons licenses, or to be sharing links that I found on the open internet. And so we are reworking that a little bit. So what I'm doing is I'm showing you a resource that I have previously published on the system. And I just want to call out that I can add things from my computer's hard drive or from my Google Drive, or I can cut and paste links into Inspire when we turn that upload feature back on. And when you do that, you'll have the opportunity to add in title, description, what grade level, or you know what additional grade levels. It could be grades 6 and 7 and 5. So whatever grade levels it applies to, you can add those kind of tags easily to make it discoverable. And then there are keywords that you can add. So it makes it really helpful for teachers to be able to say, you know, oh, this is for assessment, but it specifically is a formative assessment piece, or it's a rubric or scoring guide, or under our advanced tab, to be able to say this goes to DOK level 2 or 3, or if I'm looking at the target audience, you know, it's for a student who's above or below grade level. So you can add lots and lots of details to your content on Amazon Inspire, and ultimately that's what makes them really easy to find, so that when I'm looking for something that addresses just that particular thing that I'm looking for, that I can find something real easily. Great, somebody said they're loving the collection feature. So I do want to just kind of sum up a few things that I was able to show you here today. There are some updates coming quickly in the next month or so to the Inspire platform, and when those updates are done, you'll start seeing a lot more users being added. Right now, you are among the few people who are part of our early partners that you do have access immediately. I did want to highlight that the discovery feature is available immediately. So when you identify kind of what area you're looking for a resource, you know, the steps are basically do a search. You can discover and collect those things. Ultimately, you will be able to upload and share your own resources. But essentially, we're trying to make it just as simple as possible for you to kind of go to one place where you can find almost any kinds of free resources. One of the major reasons we have made this available to the state of Indiana is because of your commitment to going open and kind of that really, you know, deep level of knowledge that so many in the state have because of the curation work and the digital e-learning that you've been doing in the past. So there's a place inside the system that you can click to get feedback or to give feedback to us on every page. And so we really encourage you, if you are logging in, to go ahead and let us know either if you've run into a glitch, we'd love to fix it, or if you have an idea on how it could work even better, we'd love to hear that too. If you need help, you should be able to search directly in the platform on any of these keywords like help or how do I or Amazon Inspire. Those should all lead you to videos and short guides that I and my team have contributed. And if there's questions, this email address gets actually to all of the core members of our team, so inspire-support@amazon.com. And what I'd love to do is kind of open it up now to more questions and any suggestions or feedback that you guys have after spending a few minutes here just looking together at Amazon Inspire. Move out of so I'm just probably taking a look at some of the questions coming in. I know that we had wanted to give you just that brief update. I'd love to hear from anyone. Were you able to use that code to go ahead and get logged in? I'm hoping that I'm not seeing very many questions or comments because you're just having fun looking into what is already on there. And yes, just to underscore that we are working with Molly and the team, even while our sort of upload-download functionality is in process, we have a way of supporting either states or districts who want to add content directly by sharing it with us. So we'll be adding new digital learning activities around the Library of Congress shortly, but you will probably see some really, interesting resources that might already have been shared because that's such a great set of resources that, they want to make available to lots and lots of teachers. So there's educators, almost from every state that have been partnering with us to give us that feedback. And so you will find some of that there. And, as we get more and more users on the platform, you're just going to see, a further explosion of resources on here. Awesome. So Molly thinks she's finding some good new resources. What I was showing you earlier, if you just search on either favorite or, like I said, Amazon Inspire, that's a good way to get to some of those lists that I was sharing with you of my curated content. And the more that you actually go ahead and begin curating your own content, like this is a good one, Tullahoma School District in Tennessee has actually created their own open education resources textbooks for all of their social studies and math grade levels. And so they're adding those chapter by chapter, and you can see they're almost like an online book with the resources embedded in them. These have been curated and created by educators at the district level, and so these are just clickable resources that you have access to. And yes, as Molly said, also on our roadmap, in addition to the ability to pull things directly into your LMS, is the idea that you can tag content and find content to the Indiana standards. So when you look at the standards that we have today, if you look here at the place where you could go to tag it, we already have Common Core, NGSS, we've added Virginia and Florida, and I believe Indiana is actually next on our list. So our team is working hard to deliver that, and hopefully we're just going to keep going until we have all of the state standards there, and you can access literally content that's being contributed from all over the country to Amazon Inspire. So with that, I think that's the update. Mary, Molly, I'd be happy to take any other questions that might have come in, or maybe even to let you guys jump back and kind of wrap things up.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jill, so much. I know everybody's anxious to get in and look around, and when that upload feature is back live, we'll be adding some stuff, I know, from the state perspective. So like Jill had mentioned, we have all of the curated content that's been done over the last couple of years from the state level. We have it in a common cartridge file, and looking at ways that we can add it into Amazon Inspire so that can be searched or searchable by everyone. And then all of the new content that our Rockstars are curating with the Library of Congress resources and other activities will be added into Amazon Inspire as well. And soon we'll be able to tag them with the Indiana standards. Until then, we're just using keywords and other kind of advanced search features. So if no one has questions for Jill, I would just like to reiterate that we are looking to expand our Rockstar cohort. So if you have any Rockstar ELA, science, or social studies teachers, K-12 in your district, or you are one, we would love to have you join our little squad and do some professional development. This school year, not only do you get some professional development, but you also get to help us lead professional development across the state and take part in some good conversations with colleagues across the state. It's always great to get together and to talk to other teachers kind of in your area outside of your classroom walls. So great opportunity there. And if we don't have any questions, I don't think we do, Mary. Thank you, Mary, for hosting and for setting this up, and thank you, Jill, for all of your support. And once again, I had shared my email address if you have any questions about this work or want to get involved, please let me know. We'd love to have you. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks, everyone.
And thank you to Molly and Jill. Have a great evening, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.